This is Suzanne Wagner. Thank you for joining me as we do the numerology and the astrology for August 21st, 2020. If you add all those numbers together, you get the number 15. If you add the 1 and the 5 together, you get the number 6. Some things that you can take on in the number 6 day are those things that inspire and uplift. Many years ago, the geneticists found a spirituality gene. Some people have it stronger than others, and they are naturally aligned with those things that indicate that God connection and how we are here to learn how to interact with that divine energy. While for some, that gene may not be as strong, it is like a muscle, and you can strengthen it with patience, practice, and experiences that broaden your perspective and help you see how all things are connected. Today, take some time to practice stillness and contemplate the highest values that humanity can acquire in this dimension and reality. Expand your capacity to connect with those things that are beyond your present experience. One of the things that I love about doing readings are when you do a reading on somebody who really never had a reading ever in their life, never had an inkling to have a reading ever in their life, never had the thought to have a reading in their life. And so they come in a little bit skeptical, a little bit jaded, a little bit uncertain, not quite knowing what to anticipate. And, there's a lot of things out there that are challenging because not everybody is the Long Island medium or John Edwards. And some people as psychics are very specialized into certain areas. But what I love is that you take this person who is a little skeptical, a little uncertain, and you just start to begin your normal process like I would do a reading, and you just blow their mind. You blow the old circuitry in their brain. You almost can see the smoke kind of coming off their head as they're suddenly like, oh my God, how did you know that? Oh my God, how did you know that? And so to me, being a psychic is about observing the obvious things, that it's actually right there in front of you. It's not hidden. Usually people are pretty transparent, but I think socially we are kind of conditioned to ignore certain behaviors and certain things and to not see things honestly, which I think is one of the big problems that's happening right now, that we want to see what we want to see, and we don't necessarily see what is honestly right in front of us because we have a set way of perceiving. And psychic readings and breakthrough processes and personal growth workshops and rebirthing, all of these things are designed to blow those old circuits wide open with so much energy and vitality that it forces the brain to completely rewire. I remember years ago that there was this woman I was working with, and she was really sweet and wonderful, and she just kept opening and opening and opening. And the more somebody opens, the easier they are to read. And so it was like this information just started pouring out of me, and she was just like, oh my gosh, this is the most amazing thing. And then she left, and then 3 months later, she came back, and she was shaking. And I said, are you all right? And she said, yeah. And I said, what's wrong? And she goes, I'm scared. And I'm like, what are you scared of? And she goes, you. And I was like, what? Like that? And she was like, you just totally blew everything I thought I knew completely out of the water. And I have been reeling for 3 months, trying to reorganize reality in a way that blends some of my old with all of this new. And I say that because I think right now that's what's going on. I think a lot of people are scared. I think the old reality is dying and the new reality is coming in, and it is a surge of energy that is so powerful that it is forcing everybody to cope with this immense amount of energy that's coming in, and it's frying brains and it's overloading circuitry, and it forces you to kind of shut down for a little bit, turn off the computer and reset the computer and realign the computer to see if you can just get back to some sort of center. And so I say this because everybody's having this experience at the moment, in their own version, in their own way, of course, and however it's personally hitting your chart or your personal blocks, because we all have blocks. We're all down here being human, working on karma. And so each of us has different ways these moments impact us. Okay. The astrology for today. The moon moves into Libra for Friday and Saturday, improving social interaction. It is also a great time to do those things that make something more pretty in your house. Beauty is essential in a Libra moon world. And while this world continues to be emotionally unsettling, you can still do things that promote harmony. Mercury forms a sesquiquadrate with Jupiter. Know that you can overreact under this aspect. Don't go chasing waterfalls or making mountains out of molehills. Know that the normal words and thoughts coming out of people's mouths are going to be highly exaggerated and their perceptions skewed and twisted by their fear, prejudice, or bias. Do not listen to the news. The distortion factor is high. Mercury connects with Saturn and Chiron. This should give you a sense of more security and confidence that you can now do what you intend. Know that you can be your best self without metaphorically twisting knives into the guts of others and upsetting the fragile stability that so many are precariously perched upon. There are problems that need solving, and you have the tools to do just that. Know that when you keep delaying what you need to do, it undermines your energy and it breaks the power that you need to build through responsibility and accountability. Okay, my quote for today, I started just pondering the word responsibility. And so this is my little musings of responsibility. Responsibility indicates your willingness to be accountable for those things you say or do that influence others. Responsibility. When presented with an opportunity, you have the ability to act independently and make decisions without anyone's authorization. Responsibility. The moral obligation to behave appropriately in respect to the feelings of others and the conditions in which you find yourself. Okay, my blog for today. I have learned that everyone has a limit. Everyone has a line. Everyone has a level where their moral fortitude is strong and becomes a guiding principle for their life. I have learned that when you push someone past that limit, you cannot reliably predict their next move or action. Some of the things about being a psychic is that humanity as a unified group can go beyond the normal social constraints when pushed to the breaking point. When that happens, it is very hard to predict what the unified movement will be when so many souls simultaneously react. We are coming to one of those edges. And while I can semi-predict and anticipate the next move that humanity will take to shift this particular pattern, it is a wild card factor that comes out when an event triggers an explosion of emotion in such epic proportions that the control is lost in the heat of the moment as all the suppressed feelings explode and feed on the intensity of the combined suffering and upset of others. I have been trying to prevent this extreme action in favor of a more conscious and balanced response. But that time passed a while ago, and I recognized that what is in front of us is what is intended to happen. There is a divine plan in place, and while we cannot see the end result exactly, we can feel it coming. Not enough action was taken along the way, and the fear that our enemies employed worked up to the point in keeping the masses quiet and contained. And this is a very different moment. A moment when very few care anymore about doing what they are told because so much has been taken from them, and so now they have nothing left to lose. That is an extremely dangerous position for a society to be in. We are at that point where one small spark can and will ignite an explosive change. A fire is coming that will, for a moment, burn out of control. And then all of us will have to pick up the pieces and rebuild. And I intend to rebuild, hopefully, a better and more honest and balanced society. Thanks, everyone.